I corrected. His jaw trembled. He looked at my family for support. They avoided his eyes. He walked closer, voice cracking. You ruined everything. I let the truth land like a gentle blade. No, you did. I just collected the pieces you dropped. Realized then fully, painfully, what I had done. The home he planned to build with her, gone. The money he thought he'd return to, gone. The life he assumed he controlled, gone. Replaced by my quiet, calculated justice. He stepped back, breath. Shallow who? Who bought it? I slipped the keys into my purse. I did, I said softly, and I don't share. My family stayed quiet for the rest of the auction. No jokes, no whispers, left with his pride in pieces. I stood there, the new owner of the dream they had all mocked me for never reaching. Funny how silence changes form. Once it was my prison, now it's my sword. I don't feel anger anymore, just clarity. He lost his place. They lost their assumptions. And I found something better than revenge. New address, one built on my strength, my strategy, my refusal to shrink ever again. And when I walked out of that hall, keys in hand, I realized I didn't just win a house, I won myself back. It didn't happen suddenly. Betrayal is patient. It eats slowly. It started with his half-smiles around Hertha, ones he thought I couldn't decode. The sudden generosity toward her. A phone he kept too close. A ring she stopped wearing. But I said nothing. Silence was my weapon. Observation, my shield. The undeniable proof arrived wrapped in a sound. A laugh. Her laugh at midnight from his. Study. I stood outside the door long enough to memorize it. Long enough to kill who I used to be. I didn't confront them. I didn't break down. Empires crumble when they scream. Mine would rise through silence. Grief makes amateurs. But betrayal breeds strategists. I became meticulous, cold, sharp enough to cut without moving. I gathered evidence not for court but for truth, for precision. I tracked finances, traced calls, documented messages. Every whisper turned into data. Every lie into leverage. And the most important discovery wasn't their affair. It was what he took my son's trust. My sister's sanity, my mother's respect. He didn't break my heart. He broke my house. And for that, the revenge had to be structural. The first move was invisible or a quiet withdrawal of power. I transferred assets he thought he controlled. I locked accounts. I shifted ownerships, rewrote agreements, met lawyers behind tinted glass. Rooms where his name was the problem, not the beneficiary. Next came the emotional extraction. I gently pulled my son back from him with patience disguised as parenting. I reintroduced him to truth without poisoning him with bitterness. Then the social dismantling. I fed the truth in small doses, whispers in the right circles, hints placed in the correct ears. No accusations, just revelations. My sister was the final piece. When he was done using her, he discarded her like a broken spare part. That's why. She ended up on my doorstep, lost, ashamed, mentally shredded. That's how she became the crazy maid in his perfect narrative. But I didn't bring her home immediately, not yet. Her presence had to be the mirror he could not avoid. So, here we were, her on the floor, my son humiliated, guests frozen and him finally realizing the performance was over. He opened his mouth to explain. I raised a hand. He stopped. I said quietly, no maid sleeps on the floor of a house that I own. Blinked confusion first, then fear, then the realization that he didn't know anything anymore. Not the finances, not the family, not the reality. You don't live here, I continued. Not legally, not socially, not emotionally. You lost your place long before tonight. He looked at my sister, at my son, then at me, and I watched him understand exactly who replaced him. Not a person of truth. I had taken his place, his authority, his narrative, his home, his power. He left that night with nothing but the weight of his own choices. I lifted my sister from the floor myself. My son apologized before I even asked. When I finally closed the door behind us, the silence felt different. Not the silence of pain, but the silence after a storm breaks. I didn't get revenge by destroying him. I got revenge by removing him. Some people deserve to know who took their place, and some only understand it when they're standing outside a door that no longer opens for them.